Clive, thank you. Hello, welcome to Look North. On the programme tonight, school's out, but families of children with special needs raise concerns after transport is cut by a council.
I will have to leave work, go to work late, leave work early. It will mean, because I've still got to do my job, I still have to do what I go to work to do, so it just means I'll have to work on an evening.
With local authority funding under pressure, we'll look at the impact on children and their parents. Also tonight, 80 years after the end of World War II, a 100-year-old veteran marks VJ Day and his special birthday. The Yorkshire woman who was just hours from death with liver failure but is now competing for Britain at the World Transplant Games. And Calderdale Coldplay, a surprise set from singer Chris Martin at a pub in Sulby Bridge.
And it's been a lovely dry and sunny day across the whole of our region, but will the sun shine this weekend? Join me to find out.
Hello, thank you for your company this Friday evening. First tonight, parents of children with special educational needs and disabilities in Leeds say their summer has been consumed by trying to arrange transport for the new term. To help the council save money, SEND students aged 16 and over will no longer get free transport, although there will be assistance in exceptional circumstances. And some students will still get an allowance or bus pass. Our political reporter Gemma Dillon takes up the story.
Richard is a single parent to Poppy, who has Down syndrome, autism and complex learning needs. For the last 5 years, he's been able to work full-time because the council have provided transport from their home to her school in East Leeds. But as she's now 16, it's been withdrawn.
The only way she could get to the John Jameson's now would be for me to take her there. But that would be me getting to work at about 10:15, 10 in the morning, and then leaving work at about 2:30 at the latest.
The council have said they will continue to provide transport to those families where there are exceptional circumstances. Richard says he spent his summer holidays fighting for Poppy's transport to be reinstated.
It's the 3rd of September she goes back on. It's not going to happen, so that first week until it does happen, I will have to leave work, go to work late, leave work early. It will mean, because I've still got to do my job, I still have to do what I go to work to do, so it just means I'll have to work on an evening.
He's not alone. Parents gathered outside a council meeting last month. According to the campaign group Save Our School Transport, more than 1,000 young people will be affected by the policy change.
So I think they wanted a flat white bob.
Yeah, flat white.
Ailith is part of that group and works with young people with Down syndrome to give them life skills. She says the council's policy is having a huge impact on families.
People are then being offered a personal travel allowance, which is what the council is saying is the discretionary transport award. The travel allowance would not cover the cost of people's fuel, but then if you add into the mix loss of income because of time having to be taken out of work, potentially paying for a personal assistant to travel in a taxi with a young person, you know, you're looking at £10,000–15,000 a year.
The council accept it was a decision no one wanted to make, and they were left with little option as they need to save almost £100 million next year. Councillor Helen Hayden says she understands the difficulties families face.
I would love to make things as easy as possible. Unfortunately, when we assess the transport needs, we are assessing the needs of the child. Having said that, because we've kept the exceptional circumstances very flexible, the needs of families have been taken into account. However, there will be families who will need to change working hours. It's a really sad reality.
But for families like Richard and Poppy, until their appeal is heard, they face uncertainty over just how she'll get to school when the new term starts in just a few weeks' time. Gemma Dillon, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Next tonight, the North York Moors National Park Authority says the area is at extreme risk of wildfire and is urging people not to throw cigarettes away or use barbecues. A large fire is still burning on Langdale Moor near RAF Fylingdales. It started on Monday, and this evening the fire service said there were still 9 fire engines dealing with it, as John E. Reid now reports.
As the large plumes of smoke billow across the moorland, fire services here on Langdale Moor near Fylingdales have been battling to keep the flames under control. Since Monday, dry weather has caused the fire to spread, covering over 3 miles, causing disruption to local residents and businesses. Fire engines have been helped by helicopters and heat-seeking drones to help battle the blaze, as well as local farmers and gamekeepers. For locals across the region, they've been volunteering their help too, delivering food and water for the fire crews.
I've been absolutely overwhelmed. We're a little tiny fire station, as you can see, in the middle of nowhere, and I was only unlocking the door after we'd put the first post out and there was somebody arriving with crates of water and a lovely card to say thanks for everyone's efforts. It's obviously, you know, what we do, but it's just really nice that people are there hoping that they can do something to make it a little bit easier.
The scale of the task is clear. Fire crews attended the A171 near the Flask Inn pub as flames temporarily closed the road. It's now reopened. Well, today, North Yorkshire National Park Authority warned that the area is now at extreme risk of wildfire. They've warned those visiting not to take barbecues or anything which could produce sparks onto the moorland, to be vigilant of any sign of smoke or flames, and to call 999 immediately if they suspect a fire. With the moorland continuing to burn deep into the dry peat, wildlife has also been affected.
It's not just the existing impact on the habitats that you find at the surface, but also that heritage and that history of what's been lost below the surface as well, and what's been captured over time. So they're absolutely devastating, and it can take many decades, centuries, and even thousands of years to really recover from that kind of impact.
The dry weather is expected to continue over the weekend, with North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue remaining at the scene in the coming days. Their hope is that people listen to their warnings to help protect the moorland. Johnny Reid, BBC Look North.
Yes, the land is tinder dry, isn't it? Well, on that theme, also tonight, firefighters are tackling a blaze on Marsden Moor near Huddersfield. This was the scene on the A640 earlier this afternoon. Wildfire units from West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service were joined by crews from Greater Manchester to help fight the blaze. Now, across the region, 2 minutes of silence have been observed today to mark the 80th anniversary of VJ Day, the date in which Japan surrendered to the Allied forces, ending the Second World War. There are a dwindling number of first-hand witnesses to the horrors of the war. One of them is Ken Cook from York, who was sent to France, aged just 18, to fight for his country. Ken turned 100 last week, and today he marked a VJ Day by visiting a train locomotive named after his regiment. Olivia Richwald was there too.
Veteran Ken Cook celebrated his 100th birthday last week. Today he commemorated 80 years since the end of World War II, the event that defined his whole generation. Ken, who fought in Europe aged 18, led a 2-minute silence at Barrow Hill Roundhouse near Chesterfield.
When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today.
Victory had been declared in Europe 3 months earlier, and on August the 15th, Japan surrendered. The war was finally over.
So let us join in thanking Almighty God that war has ended throughout the world.
There were parties in the street. Ken remembers marching alongside men who had fought in the Far East.
The tears in their eyes as they walked past, you wouldn't believe it. It really upset me. And they were the first in the parade, then we followed behind, then another group followed behind. And the mall was full of marching people. It was a spectacular occasion. I'll never forget it anyway.
Ken was here in Chesterfield to visit a restored locomotive named after his regiment, the Green Howards. He's a busy man and has had a week of celebrations at home in York to mark his 100th birthday.
It just amazes me how much character he still has, especially at 100. I wish I'm going to be like that when I'm 100. But yeah, he just brings a brightness to people's lives. If it's talking about the war, if it's just talking about what he's done that day, he's just so happy to be around us.
He's inordinately special. The fact that he lives his life to the mantra of every day is an adventure makes him so special. He's got a zest for life. He looks forward to everything with great enthusiasm, and he rarely says no to any opportunity that comes along for him to do something of interest.
I have a reclining chair. I just get comfortable in it. The phone rings. Nick, I enjoy talking to people, you know. And I've met people from all over the world, kind of thing. I mean, I'm living a dream.
Ken returned to the Normandy beaches to mark the 80th anniversary of VE Day in May this year. He knows his life could have easily ended here aged 18. As the country celebrates VJ Day, he says he will continue to represent the comrades who didn't come home. Olivia Richwald, BBC Look North, near Chesterfield.
Yes, many happy returns, Ken. What an amazing gentleman. OK, let's get some news in brief now. A 16-year-old boy has been released on bail after the death of a 13-year-old girl in Huddersfield. Police were called to Sheep Ridge Road on Monday evening, where they found the girl unresponsive and she died in hospital. A post-mortem couldn't establish the cause. The boy was arrested on suspicion of murder and rape, but is now on conditional bail as inquiries continue. 3 men have been arrested on suspicion of murder after the death of a man in Wakefield. Police have named the victim as 50-year-old Dale Stogden, also known as Brett. He was fatally shot on Doncaster Road in Wakefield on Tuesday night. In a statement, his daughters say they are in complete shock at his death. 3 men, aged 19, 20 and 27 from the Wakefield area have been arrested and are currently in police custody. Let's turn to football now. Sheffield Wednesday fans are planning another protest this weekend ahead of their first home game. They're calling for the owner, Dapon Shansiri, to sell the club, which has been in financial crisis for months. Our sports reporter Sally Hurst is outside Hillsborough with more details tonight. Sally.
Yes, Phil, a first home game of the season and a second protest of the season as well. First, a couple of positives there have been for Owls fans this week. The North Stand, which had been closed because of safety concerns, has reopened, which means season ticket holders can take their seats as normal. Good news for them. And of course, the Owls had a win on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup, an exciting penalty shootout and a performance which perhaps gave fans hope that this season might not be a complete washout that they might have expected given the financial problems. So after that protest in Leicester last weekend, which saw the plane fly over with a Chansiri out banner and fans taking their seats 5 minutes late, fans want to keep up the pressure on Chansiri. They want him to sell the club. They're sick and tired of living this sort of hand-to-mouth existence where players and their wages are delayed for 3 months in a row. So earlier today I caught up with a couple of members of the Supporters Trust to find out what their plans are to keep up that momentum tomorrow.
I march through the park with the banners and just come to this side of the park opposite where the ground is, and we're going to sing some protest songs and protest. At that point, last week we heard that there was a whistle protest planned. Although the Trust didn't plan it, we've tried to take the narrative to stop the game getting abandoned. And as soon as the whistle kicks off, we're going to try 5 minutes of whistles so the game can't go ahead. The referee will have to stop the game. After 5 minutes, we're asking everybody to stop and let the game go ahead.
Paul, how confident are you that Chansiri is watching these protests like the one last weekend, and is it making a difference?
I think it is making a difference. I mean, everybody saw that fantastic, awesome protest last weekend. We're clear in the Trust that we need to keep the pressure on. Somewhere Chansiri must be listening to what's happening and seeing what the strength of feeling is. And just as importantly, I think anybody who's thinking, do I want to buy this football club, will be looking at those protests and thinking, yeah, actually, I really want to be part of that. You know, because it's such a strong fan base, such a strength of feeling, that can only be good for us.
And they're expecting around 3,000 to 4,000 fans at that protest tomorrow. Now, of course, the Premier League also kicks off tonight, although newly promoted Leeds will have to wait till Monday for their first game against Everton. They have made an important signing today, the striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a Yorkshireman, former Sheffield United and England player, and Daniel Farke had this to say about him earlier today.
We don't have to speak about his qualities. He has more or less all the skills that you would like your striker also to have. Yeah, of course. His last few seasons were a bit interrupted by a few injuries, but also by doing this, he still managed to play 26 games, for example, last season. A chance for him also to revive his career and to reach former heights when he was really outstanding also on Premier League level.
And some breaking rugby league news in the last hour. Wakefield's game against Salford on Sunday has been called off over welfare concerns. Of course, Salford having their own financial difficulties and they are relying on loanees. So that game has been called off. But for now, from Hillsborough, back to you, Phil.
Phil, thank you, Sally. Thank you very much indeed for that. Well, we'll stay on the sporting theme because an athlete from North Yorkshire who underwent a life-saving transplant is urging others to become organ donors. At just 22, Louise Prashard from Easingwold was 34 weeks pregnant with twins when she fell ill. After collapsing at home, she was rushed to hospital and was given a matter of hours to live when doctors diagnosed acute liver failure. Thankfully, a donor match was found, and although she had only a 10% chance of survival, she pulled through. Sadly, her two children didn't. Now she's about to take part in the World Transplant Games in Germany, and I've been along to meet her.
Let's go and bring it back. And then go. That's it. All done.
For someone who says she was not very sporty, Louise Prashard's story is remarkable. A winner of 5 gold medals in track and field events at the British Transplant Games in 2022 and 2023, she's currently in training for Team GB at the World Games in Dresden.
I'm taking part in the shot put, javelin, discus, long jump and ball throw.
Now, at the age of 30, Louise says she's grateful for a second shot at life.
So I was taken to St James's Hospital in Leeds, which is a regional liver centre and transplant centre. And luckily, one of the doctors there recognised my symptoms and diagnosed me with acute fatty liver of pregnancy. In 48 hours, I went from expecting this beautiful family to waking up to the knowledge that I was a bereaved mother and I had someone else's organ.
Determined to get her life back on track, Louise has since married, graduated with a law degree and now has 2 children.
I think if I hadn't have had the transplant, I'd really have struggled to get out of the dark hole that I was in. I really struggled with the grief, but knowing that I had someone else's organ and somebody else's life really spurred me on to want to live every day like it's its last, and I really do. Over the last 10 years, I've ran ultras, I've given over 600 talks about organ donation, raised over £350,000 for liver-related charities, and I want to show my donor's family that it wasn't all in vain.
Somewhat modestly, she says her success on field and off is down to those who helped give her a second chance.
I think my main message would be to go away and have that chat with your family and leave them sure of your decision to donate your organs. I would not be here without organ donation, and I'm living proof that it works. My donor saved another 8 people and her husband saved another 9. So that's so many lives saved just by reconfirming that choice.
Same again. Just keep these shoulders level.
Alongside the discus, javelin and ball throwing, Louise says she's going for gold in the shot put. Judging by her determination in life, you wouldn't bet against her. And the best of luck to Louise as well. I'm sure she'll do well. Now, just a warning, there are about to be some flashing images in the screens behind me. We're throwing back to the 1980s and 1990s when Leeds was renowned for its clubbing culture. Now, a new virtual reality show aims to recreate those nights out, in particular, acid house raves. Part film, part video game and part documentary. The show is an immersive 3D journey back in time. Now it's called In Pursuit of Repetitive Beats, and we sent our own resident closet clubber, Kathy Killick, to give it a go. She did pretty well, in fact. There are also flashy images in her report.
Welcome to the weird and wonderful world of raving in the 21st century. Imagine being immersed in these scenes so they become your reality. That's what's on offer at Testbed in Leeds until mid-September.
You guys come forward and grab a vest.
It starts with dressing up for your night out in a haptic vest that throbs to the music and a virtual reality headset. What happens next is a fantastic journey back in time to 1989.
There we go. Right, I've just put a record on, I think.
I then found myself in a bedsit with my old friend Michael Burke.
The government's considering giving local councils new powers to control acid house parties.
Like watching a great documentary, this is a documentary about acid house that you're in, and you can experience and you can go on this journey, this one night in 1989 where you have to find this illegal acid house party.
From the bedsit, we travel by car, virtual reality style, to a phone box, waiting for info about the rave.
The first meet point is at the Rose and Crown pub in Wood End.
Rose and Crown pub in Wood End, everybody, by 10:30. Let's go. I think we should go in. So I am in a huge warehouse, everybody dancing. It's quite dark, got some light around it. Well, I think you just got to join in, haven't you?
One of my fellow ravers is clubbing mogul Dave Beer, who remembers dozens of raves. So how does the VR version measure up?
I thought it was amazing. And there were moments where I got a bit emotional at one point, you know, like near the end of it. It was almost like, wow, you know, like, oh, I wish that was still around, you know. It was such a groundbreaking time, you know.
Rave culture was inclusive and for many almost mystical, but the police cracked down on it, and that too is covered in our immersive journey. It makes this experience thought-provoking as well as entertaining, and captures the euphoria of a successful rave.
You know, people come out crying, wanting to hug each other, feeling elated, talking about their past and what they used to do when they were going out clubbing.
Like raves were, this experience is at the cutting edge of culture, a new art form that's totally new for Leeds, and as it defies description, the only way to truly get it is to try it for yourself. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Leeds.
And she's shifting some shapes there, isn't she? That's good stuff. OK, look, we'll stay on a musical theme, because imagine going down to your local for a quiet pint or two, maybe, only for the Coldplay star Chris Martin to turn up and play a secret gig. Well, that's exactly what happened in Calderdale last night. Tom Ingle has been speaking to some of those who were present at the time.
So, you're down the local, and there's some guy messing about with the old Joanna, and hang on, it's only Chris Martin from flippin' Coldplay. I know, that's how I would have reacted too. Fair to say, the Puzzle Hall Inn near Sowerby Bridge is a few steps down from Wembley Stadium, but that was precisely the point. Somewhere for Chris to warm up ahead of the next leg of the Coldplay tour, and a way of supporting independent music venues.
He was staying locally, and he recognised this is one of the most amazing grassroots music venues in the area, and there was the opportunity there. So Chris has always been really supportive of grassroots venues, so I think that's why they wanted to come and do it.
I've just had a quick look round the main stage here at the Puzzle Hall Inn, and there's not even so much as a bit of graffiti that says Chris was here. How disappointing. It's almost like the secret gig could have been a fever dream, were it not for the fact it was absolutely rammed and everyone here had an unforgettable evening.
We didn't know who it was until pretty much just before it was on. So
he walked through the door and you went, oh my goodness, you're the man from Coldplay?
Well, it was something like that, yeah. So nobody knew, and that's how they said, well, that's how they wanted to run it.
It was so intimate, and he was really charming, so because he could get to talk to the audience. The most amazing thing was that we walked down the aisle to Sparks 24 years ago. It's just coming up, and I told him that while we were chatting, and so the first song he started off with was Sparks, and he dedicated it to us.
There's a few people genuinely that had gone into that pub
that evening without ever having visited that pub before, only to see Chris Martin and all his equipment arriving. And they're thinking, wow, you know, what's going on here? And I think I picked up that atmosphere from the gig. It was disbelief.
For the Puzzle Hall, it's now back to the regular roster of local live musicians and cask ales. But what happened was truly magical. And for once, everyone in the crowd can justifiably start an anecdote by saying, well, you really had to be there. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Sowerby Bridge.
Yeah, fair play to Chris Martin. What a gig, eh? Do you think there was an entry charge or not?
Can you imagine if it was your regular night out and you decided not to go out last night? You'd be gutted,
wouldn't you?
How fantastic. Right, let's get on with the forecast because we've got a lot to get through. We'll start with 6 a.m. this morning on Ilkley Moor. The sun was about to rise. It was a beautiful day there in Ilkley in West Yorkshire. And this was Cannon Hall in South Yorkshire. Looking a bit singed there. You can tell we've had a long drought, but the flowers have obviously been watered. Send your pictures in if you want to get them on the telly next week, X, Instagram and on the Weather Watcher website. So this weekend there will be a bit more cloud around, especially Saturday morning. That will break up with some sunshine in the afternoon. Sunday's looking pretty good. High pressure with us through the weekend and probably the whole of next week. So again, not a drop of rain in the forecast, but there will be subtle changes. More of a northeasterly, I think, by the middle of next week, so it will feel that bit cooler and fresher. Now, there's the satellite sequence. Notice a lot of cloud in the North Sea. It's already clouded across the coastal parts of Yorkshire. That's heading inland now. So there'll be some sunshine for the next hour or so, but before long, we will see that cloud spreading all the way inland. That will stop temperatures dropping too far, so another mild one to come, lows of 14 or 15 degrees. So tomorrow's high water times, there we are in Scarborough 9:46, Bridlington and Bempton at 10:05 tomorrow morning. So we are off to a bit of a different start. A lot of cloud around first thing in the morning. It will slowly break up. It could take into the afternoon before some places see the sunshine, but eventually it should brighten up with some sunny spells. Another warm afternoon, pleasant temperatures actually, 24 the high, that's 75 Fahrenheit. Sunday, less cloud, more sunshine. So a lovely day on Sunday, lots of sunshine and warm. Next week it's fine, cloudy at times, some sunshine, temperatures trending downwards through the second half of next week. That's it.
No sign of any wet weather at all?
Not at all.
Dear me. OK, thank you, Paul. That's as far as we go for now. We're back with a late bulletin at 10:30, but from Paul and myself and the team, good night.